All right, I got a comment on yesterday's video that from a gentleman who had a link to a website where they actually show how to ride a horse going downhill. And it changed my mind about this. So I'm going to reposition the warrior again. Still thinking I might resculpt him, at least his head. His head looks about a third too big for his body. And so I may just resculpt that too. So let me think what I'm going to do here. There we go. All right, I'm going to make a jig for the head, and then I'll be right back. But first, well, that gets him up. I'll reposition the. In fact, I might just redo the whole arms, all the arms, completely. Except for this one. This one might be okay, but anyway, let me get busy. All right, I'm setting up the jig, and it's just a one by one or 2 by 2, whatever these are called, on a piece of wood as the base, and it just gives me. And then I drill a hole the width of the copper tubing in this case, or the wire that I use, and now I just bend it. Now I'm going to make this head longer, or this part longer than I normally would, only because I want it to hold it in place. And I'm going to bend it forward and up a little bit. Now I want this wire to stay in place. I don't want it to be moving around. So what I do to anchor this in the hole is by just driving a screw down next to it. And that has the ability to lock the wire into the hole, and it won't go anywhere. All right, now I'm going to grab the head off of the warrior and try him again. I'm going to mark that as the bottom of the chin. Actually, I'm going to go up just a little bit. And I'm going to cut this head down about a third, because it is a little bit big. And I'm going to be using pictures I printed up of Rodney Grant, who I think has got a great face to work by. All right. Okay, since I've got one screw going into this 2 by 2, I can turn it by hand, and without having to turn the sculpting stand, which is handy. All right. First thing I do is I try to build up a profile, and the one thing you need in your stockpile of tools is a good pair of architect's calipers for small stuff, because you can get the bigger ones, and you can get the bigger ones, the artist type. Those are handy if you're doing something bigger. But when you're working this small, you want something with a little more pinpoint, a little more control. So I would suggest getting a pair of real good calipers. You can get them at any university bookstore. They sell architectural things. No need to go big expensive. Just get the cheapest set you can get. They all work just fine. All right, now I'll just do the profile of the head first. And what I mean profile is I'm just laying out the length and height, and I'm cutting my head length by a third. And so that's just perfect right there. Now you can see that this head is much bigger than that head. And that's what I want to correct, because I think it's too big for his body. On my Facebook page, I have a gentleman who creates the most incredible, highly detailed sculptures. They're just millimeter, I mean, just tiny, less than 6 inches. But I got to tell you, when you're working on a face that's about 1.5 inches from the bottom of the chin to the top of the head, it is very, very hard because you're just moving molecules of clay around. If you got a headache, which I do right now, it does not help the headache. Very windy outside today. It's up in the 40s, which it hasn't been above 20 degrees in almost a month. So it's that's the reason why we got so much wind right now. Not that that's anything to do with sculpting. I often wondered what the surroundings were like for Michelangelo when he worked on his sculptures. What was going on outside his workshop or in his workshop. You know, Rodin, any artist. It would have been nice to have a webcam that I could have watched them sculpt. I used to go watch my uncle sculpt, and it was amazing to watch him work. A lot of you out there wish you had the experience that I have had, and it comes. But I was remembering the other day how I felt the same way about my uncle, Ed Frotton. What an incredible sculptor he is. Alright, I'm going to continue this tomorrow. This headache of mine is bugging the crap out of me right now. And I apologize for that, but I'm going to get away from this before I do something bad on it. And we'll pick this up tomorrow.